Well, the warm to hot temperatures from the holiday weekend carrying over to this Tuesday. We did have a few changes with a few scattered showers developing west of the I-75 corridor, and those scattered storms should be more numerous and be back in play Wednesday as a cold front approaches from the west. It is going to be mild, but some low clouds could linger Friday through Sunday. Not a bad thing because temperatures are expected to be a little unseasonably mild anyway, and then warming back up a bit heading into early next week. You can see this light to occasionally moderate rain essentially running from Waynesburg and southern Lincoln County to Houstonville, and then up in between Danville and Perryville along the US 150 corridor, Harrodsburg through McAfee, Salvisa, and then west of Frankfort over towards Shelbyville. Also Lawrenceburg getting in on a passing shower. The organized thunderstorms are out here to the west, and really all this is driven by the afternoon heat along with some moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico, enough to stir things up, get that lift going, and get a few storms cranking. Note the overcast conditions. Our Bluegrass Pace Care Skyview HD camera network in Richmond, we're at 86. Winds are more out of the west. That's due to the rain-cooled air coming out of those showers just west of I-75 corridor, and you see the lower 80s there. Our dew points are up a touch. It feels a little bit on the muggy side, especially areas that have not received any rain. So there's your high over the Carolinas. Return flow picking up. There's your cold front. That's going to be sliding our way for the day on Wednesday. Here in the short term, once the sun goes down here around 8 o'clock or so, we should begin to see these diminish. Could see a couple of rounds of activity, one late tomorrow morning into the early afternoon, and then say later tomorrow evening overnight, just ahead of that frontal boundary. Tropics staying active. Now, this is Tropical Storm Lee. It is way out there in the Atlantic. It's expected, though, to become a major hurricane by the weekend. Now, you see here, this is the computer models, several of them. This is about a week out from now. It gets close to the Leeward Islands, and a lot of the data wants to curve it away from the lower 48. Again, this is a week from now, so this bears watching as we head over the next 10 days or so, but that's really the only game out there in the Atlantic right now. You see how everything's really dipping down as far as humidity levels, and as I mentioned, even though the front goes by, you got upper level energy and a northwest flow aloft, so some colder air, cooler air on top of it, and that usually sets the stage for some low-level cloudiness, at least in the scattered form, to stick around. So we may be dealing with that in that Friday to Sunday time frame, which again is not a bad thing. It'll take the edge off with that 3 o'clock kickoff with Kentucky and EKU out at Kroger Field on Saturday afternoon. So much more like it. It should feel pretty good, even with a mix of clouds and sunshine. Worst case scenario, mostly cloudy, and then after that, we'll see temperatures on the rise a bit with low to mid 80s into early next week.